Hey everyone, it's Pam and I'm here to do another collection video. This time I'm talking about my big box PC collection. So even though I mostly talk about and review console games on this channel, PC is really what the mainstay of my gaming has been throughout my life. PC is where my gaming started and was sort of there all throughout the years, whether I was also playing NES or PS1 or PS2. PC was always there being played as well as being played in the times when I wasn't playing that much on console. Now, please don't ask me what kind of PCs I had over the years, because I honestly couldn't tell you. I never really cared much about brand names or processors or knowing what I was playing on. This collection is really just shelf pieces for me, whereas for all of my console games, I buy them with at least the intention of playing them at some point. For me, these PC games are more about owning the things that I had and played so much in my youth and being able to look at them, being pretty on the shelf, as well as go through the boxes and look through the manuals and the various goodies included inside them. I have no desire to make old games run on new computers or collect older computers, so when I'm actually playing any of these games, I'm just playing the Steam or GOG versions or whatever I can get my hands on. So I'm going to start this off with a collection, and this is one of the earliest big boxes I can remember owning, and it's really what I think of when I think about what got me into PC gaming, and specifically PC adventure point-and-click gaming, and this is the LucasArts Classic Adventures Collection. It has 5 games in it. It has Secret of Monkey Island, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Loom, Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, and Maniac Mansion. A fantastic start to any budding adventure gamer's journey through life. I played this so much. Secret of Monkey Island obviously became a favorite very, very quickly. Loom is beautiful and quite different than any other adventure game I've played. Maniac Mansion is a lot of fun, though a little bit obtuse to get through. Indiana Jones just reminds me so much of the movie, and it's great. And Zack McCracken is probably the most obscure one on here that is a little difficult to get to. It has more of the dead ends and ways to get stuck, and it's harder, I found, than the rest of them. But this was just a great way to get started in PC gaming. Just open it up here, show you what is inside. So there's, I think, 7 or 8 discs, the 3.5-inch floppies, and in here is also a fantastic manual. It's got the manuals for all 5 games in it. It's got some sort of walkthroughs told in story format. It's got Henry Jones's Grail Diary from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's got all of the spells or the songs from Loom to go through, and it's also got some of the DRM stuff from Zack McCracken. Oh yeah. Whenever you had to fly anywhere on an airplane, you needed to put in one of these codes or else you couldn't progress. So this is one I got not too long ago. I added it back to my collection, and yeah, this is sort of one of the ones I'm definitely most happy to have, because it's one of the ones that sort of just means the most to me in terms of early PC gaming memories. Now we'll get to going through alphabetically. This is Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. It is a really interesting, unique, isometric role-playing game. It was made by Troika, who also made Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's a really cool sort of steampunk, alternate history RPG where you can choose whether you want to have magic-based characters or technology-based characters, and if you go into a technology tree, your magic will be dampened, or the other way around. It's got some great voice acting and characters. The combat is honestly a little rough, and it's what's kept me from replaying the game anytime I've sort of tried. But the quests and everything, the world, are all really cool. It just comes with the disc and a very nice manual that goes over everything. It's got how to use all of the inventory and everything, all the different stats, little descriptions of the different races and classes. It also comes with, I think this is just a little quick reference guide, which a lot of RPGs came with, and a little map as well. This is a really fantastic game. I would like to try it again. It's just the combat. It's just the pausable real-time combat, which I don't really love, and your characters can just get killed and explode very quickly, which is frustrating, but the story and the mechanics of it are all really, really interesting. Next, we've got some Baldur's Gate, and this is the first game. It is the DVD-ROM edition rather than the CD-ROM. The box is not in the best shape. It's been a little crushed over time, but that's okay. I really have more memories of Baldur's Gate 2 than I do of the first game, but I do remember liking it a lot. My problem was that Planescape Torment was sort of the first game of this type that I played, so after it, everything else seemed a little, I don't know, just didn't seem quite as good. The stories or the characters never seemed quite as exciting as they were in Planescape Torment. We've got, again, a very hefty game manual to go with Baldur's Gate, and a nice map of, the city here, and then also of, what is this, the Sword Coast? Is that what it's called? Or is that what it is in the second one? Yeah, the Sword Coast. Yeah, so I've got this, and then I've also got Baldur's Gate II, Shadows of Am, and this one is actually in beautiful condition, unlike the first one. So it's got very similar things in it, I believe. This is the CD-ROM version, so it's got multiple CD-ROMs. It also came with a demo disc for Icewind Dale. Icewind Dale's the one of these games that I never really got into. I found that there wasn't very much story in it, and it was mostly combat, at least from what I played in it. So I never was interested in playing through the whole thing, but another little manual that goes over all the spells and abilities and things. I did not talk about this enough on camera to go over everything in the box. There is an AOL free trial. Remember when these came in everything? Games, magazines. There's also a little insert for something called the Dungeons, which I think is an event in London. And it comes with the registration card, which most things come with. And also another quick reference guide, although I'm not sure how quick this is, because this is quite extensive. And it also comes with a map. So some of these games are not exactly complete in box, and some I just have the box for, like Blade Runner. I found this at Too Many Games last year, and it is literally just an empty box. I'm going to be trying to put it together with the discs and the manual. Actually, I don't care that much about the discs because, as I said, I don't play the games off the discs, but I would like to have the manual and any inserts that came with it. This is not a game I played when I was a kid. It's one I've always heard really good things about and was afraid it would never be available for play until it was recently put on GOG, which is excellent. So I do plan on getting it and playing through it sometime later this year, but for now, I just have the box. When I collect games, I try to only collect things that I really want, things that I've played or have, some other reason for wanting to own them. But sometimes it's a little hard. It's so hard to find PC big boxes, like at swaps or shows or conventions. There's just not that many of them compared to all the console games. So sometimes when I find something and I recognize it, even if I haven't played the game or if it doesn't mean anything to me, I pick it up. And it's often a mistake, and I regret it, and that's the case with The Curse of Monkey Island. I love the first Monkey Island game, and I like the second one, but I don't think I've ever actually played The Curse of Monkey Island. And this is also the Archives Edition box, which isn't as nice as the original box, and also comes with almost nothing inside, which really sucks. All that it came with was the disc for Curse of Monkey Island, and then a Monkey Island Madness disc, which is the first 2 games. So yeah, this was a regretful one. It's just I saw LucasArts on a PC big box and decided I should buy it when I probably should have passed on it. So these next couple games belong to Will, and he's not a huge PC big box collector, but he does have a few scattered into this collection. So the first one is Diablo II. And it's still got the sticker on it, and it was originally from CompuCenter for $59.99. And I have never actually played Diablo 2. I didn't play any Diablo until the new one, but I've heard lots of good things about it. People seem to like it. It's not really my type of game. I like a little bit more story, a little less loot and mindless hacking and slashing. So it comes with the discs here, and it also has a rather large game manual, which goes over all the abilities and the equipment and things like that. And it has a Blizzard product catalog, which is kind of strange. So you can open it up and see what's happening with Blizzard, a bunch of Warcraft games, a bunch of Starcraft games. There is a poster of Warcraft 3. Honestly, I'm not sure who taught this person how to make a catalog, because this is not very usable at all, and it shouldn't really double as a poster. They should have made them separate, but I'm just nitpicking here. And then the next one is the Diablo 2 expansion set, Lord of Destruction. Sadly, this guy got a little bent at some point in its life, but yeah, this is just the expansion for Diablo 2. And last year, he got the collector's edition for Diablo 3, which comes with a lot of cool things in it. It's got a beautiful art book in it, which I should probably actually take out of this box and keep on the shelf with the rest of my art books, because Blizzard does do fantastic artwork, and it's sort of a nice thing to look through. It also comes with a number of other things. There's like a making of DVD it came with. There is a soundtrack. There's the actual game disc. It came with a bunch of little like codes for game time and thing for various Blizzard games. And then the cool thing is this little USB key. There's Mr. Diablo himself, and then this little USB key. I don't know if this is like supposed to sit in his forehead. I guess it is. Kind of cool. A lot of cool stuff that came with this collector's edition. I honestly had a couple collector's edition for the WoW games. I think I had the Wrath of the Lich King and then Cataclysm, and I guess I got rid of those. I just have the art books left. So this is one of the most beautiful boxes that I think there is, and it is the box for The Dig, which I made a big video on a little while ago. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. I think it's the best video I've ever made. This is a great point-and-click adventure, again by LucasArts, and it's a beautiful game with some astonishingly hard puzzles, but it's a really cool sort of sci-fi game about aliens and humanity. And yeah, so we've got the actual game disc here. There's a reference guide. There is, what else? Oh, it comes with a demo disc for Full Throttle and Star Wars Dark Forces. And it came with the novelization by Alan Dean Foster. I did read this, and it's not very good. I wouldn't recommend it. And of course, a LucasArts company catalog, and these are often my favorite parts of what's inside of the PC big boxes. I just love seeing, you know, what other games are out and what other games are planned, and, you know, just a nice little hit of memories of all the games that were out at this point when I probably didn't get a chance to play all of them. Another LucasArts one, you can probably tell these are some of my favorites. This is Full Throttle. I have to say, I hate that this box is wider than it is tall so that it doesn't fit with anything else on the shelf. Drives me a little bit nuts, but this is a good game. It's very funny at times, and it's also quite short. Not too difficult compared to some of the other adventure games of the day. There's not a whole lot in here. There's just the game disc, and there's a little mini player's guide, which is actually a walkthrough of the whole game, which is cool. So yeah, Full Throttle's a really fun one. I have reviewed this one as well. I did a collaboration with the Adventure Game Geek, so if you haven't seen my Full Throttle review, you should watch it. Of course, we can't give all the love to LucasArts because Sierra had some great games too. This is Gabriel Knight, The Beast Within. Unfortunately, I don't have Gabriel Knight 1. That is one of my most wanted PC big boxes, but I have yet to come across one, and I have a feeling they're probably pretty expensive. But yeah, I found this one last year. It's not in the best of shape. It's a little stained or maybe sun-faded or something through here, but it is nice. I can just put it so this side of the box sits out on my shelf. I don't think there was a ton in this box. Let's see. Yeah, so there's not much in here. This is not complete. So we've got the discs, and then all there is a big registration card. It doesn't include the manual or anything, so I am also on the lookout for the manual if I ever come across one of those. But yeah, Beast Within is one of my favorite FMV games, an FMV game that I actually think is good. It's really cool in that it goes all through Germany and a bunch about Bavarian history. You get to play as both Gabriel and Grace and sort of switch between them, and it's a lot of fun, and you may learn something too. So I do also have the third Gabriel Knight game, Blood of the Sacred, Blood of the Damned. This is where they made the jump to 3D. It's kind of an interesting series because the first one is pixelated, regular point and click, the second one is FMV, and the third one is 3D, sort of polygonal graphics, and that means it doesn't hold up all that well. This game is really just butt ugly to look at now. I haven't played it since my original playthrough, but I do remember it having some very, very interesting and challenging puzzles. Also a few really, really stupid puzzles, but there are some towards the end that were actually pretty cool. The story of this is based on a book, although I don't think they ever reference the book. So we've got the discs, and we've got the game manual, and it also comes with a prologue, which is basically a little comic book graphic novel thing. And the silly thing about this is that the prologue is only in this. So if you don't read this book, the game will start and you will have no idea what's going on, how Gabriel and Grace got where they are, which is a very strange decision, but I do remember liking this game despite how ugly it looks now. So this next one is another one of Will's, and it is CounterStrike. It's funny, when I saw this box, I was like, what do you mean Half-Life CounterStrike? Because I didn't realize that CounterStrike was the multiplayer Half-Life experience. I know they're both made by Valve, but CounterStrike just seemed to be such a big deal at some point, and I know everyone's still clamoring for new Half-Life, but I don't know, CounterStrike seemed to surpass Half-Life, at least in audience. It's got the CD and then just the manual. This also says Sierra Studios on here, which I also had no idea about, so I'm learning new things as I go. My background here is disappearing as I go through these games. This is King's Quest V, which is the first King's Quest I ever played. I always found this game very challenging. I don't think I ever beat it. I also never had the big box when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure someone burned me a copy of the game or something, and that probably has something to do with why I never beat it, because I didn't get any of the manuals or little hint guides that were included. This is probably also not the one I had. It's on 5 1/4 inch 5 1/4, 5 1/2, I literally always forget. Floppy disks, there are 8 game disks for this one game. I assume there's also wasn't voices on this version if they were on these discs. I'm not positive about that though. There is a manual that comes with it, which just tells you about the game and the people and the places and how to play it. And then there is a little hint book that it comes with, and this is really cute because all of the hints are sort of blocked out, and it comes with a little adventure window. So if you want to read the hints, you have to put the red screen over it in order to get the blue text to show up, which was always fun. I remember when I was younger, that was a technology that got used a lot in like sticker books and in all kinds of things. So, and my favorite King's Quest is King's Quest VII. This one is so memorable to me. I definitely had the box. I remember seeing this in the stores and getting my mom to buy this. Just looking at it now, it's amazing that it's a game with like 3 women characters on the cover, and they're all fully clothed, which was just like not really something you saw a lot on game boxes. So that was really cool. And also it's just beautiful. Like I love how vibrant all of the colors are on this box and in the game itself. It was one of the most colorful games that I have ever played, and it always really stuck out for me because of that. So it's cool because we've got the order from Radio Shack from the person who originally bought it, and it's funny because it's a Radio Shack that is quite near to where I live now, even though it's not where I grew up. So this comes with, there's a startup disc, but the actual game is on CD-ROM. And it also comes with a Sierra Winter catalog, another thing that's fun to go through to see all the games that were available at the time. It doesn't look like there's a manual in here. I'm sure there probably was a manual. Maybe it's just this. Oh, I think maybe it just came with this one in here, but this is also a game that I had the strategy guide for. After I bought the game, I also went out and got the strategy guide because I was having a hard time with it, and I'm pretty sure I also colored in the strategy guide because it included some nice pictures, but they were in black and white. And then it includes this little pamphlet for Imagination, which is a premier online entertainment service, one of those early internet things that was sort of part chat room, part gaming place with exorbitant pricing. So my favorite ever 3D dungeon crawler is Lands of Lore, and sadly this box is a little ripped up, but again, I can just show this side of the spine while it's on the shelf. This is just a really fun game that really got me into dungeon crawlers. It had pre-selectable characters. It just had, better graphics and a little more character and personality than something like Wizardry, which are my sort of first dungeon crawlers that I played as a kid. Now this version is the floppy disk version, which is not the one I had. I had the CD one with the voices, including Patrick Stewart as the king. And it comes with some great little books. So first of all, there's just the regular game manual, which includes, some stuff about the different characters you can play and your character screen and how that works. But it also comes with an actual lore book that just talks about the land that you're in, the different races and species of characters, the different the different enemies you'll be running into as you go through. Yeah, this is a really fun one. I want to play this again sometime soon. I actually would really like to make a video on it as well. I just haven't quite gotten around to it. More Sierra, and this is the Leisure Suit Larry collection. Again, this is not the version I had. I had the version that had 1 through 7 in it, plus I had access to some of the earlier games. One of my earliest gaming memories was playing Leisure Suit Larry 2 over at my aunt's house and seeing boobies very early on in the game, which was exciting. This just comes with the disc, so all the games are on the one disc, and it comes with, again, another catalog of the various Sierra games that were coming out. A lot of these I'm not really familiar with, so I'm not sure if they just didn't come out or if it's just something that went under my radar, but the Leisure Suit Larry games are silly and fun. It's been a long time, honestly, since I played them, but I played the remake of one, although I think one has been remade twice, which seems a little excessive. I remember one of them, I don't remember which. There was like, you can get stuck in these games, and if you don't pick something up from early in the game and you get to late game, it'll just be like, sorry, you didn't pick this up, game over, hope you saved, and I had never saved. So I remember that making me really mad. Here's another one of those why did I buy this games. This is The Lord of the Rings, which is something I didn't really know much about. I mean, obviously I know the books, The Lord of the Rings, and I like those, but I don't really know much about this game. Going on the back of the box, it's got animation that looks a lot like that old Hobbit cartoon. It's also nice that the box inside is a black interplay box rather than just the sort of generic white one that usually comes in these kind of things. It's just got the game disc and then, of course, the game manual. It's kind of cool. It goes over all of the spells, and I should look up a video about this game because it looks interesting based on the manual. I'm not sure if this is something that's available on GOG or something. Oh, there's a little map of the Shire, and then there is an interplay catalog of just their games. This is just another one where I went to a show and was having no luck finding PC big boxes that I actually wanted, so I just picked up something that I recognize the title of. This is Pariah, and this is a game I did QA on at the beginning of my short QA career. I talked about this a little bit more in my Xbox and Xbox 360 video, since I have it on original Xbox as well, so I'm not going to talk too much about this other than to say it feels very much like a Halo clone. And next up is my favorite PC big box. It is Planescape Torment. Even though this is honestly not the best box art in the world, I can't help but feel this game would have done a little better initially and been more than just a cult classic had they decided on a slightly different design for this. But I've talked about this game a lot. It's one of the best RPGs ever made, although after Disco Elysium, I'm gonna have to actually say it's like the second or third best RPG. So it comes with the game discs here. There's 4 discs. So this is one, I didn't have my original game box, but I do have my original game discs. So I threw away the box, but I kept the discs through all the years. So I've actually got 2 copies of all the discs. And then this comes with a game manual, of course, and a little award-winning RPG catalog, which is like Baldurs Gate, Planescape Torment, Fallout 2, all the good stuff. So I think Will got this for me for my birthday a few years ago. Maybe it was Christmas, but happy to have the big box on my shelf. And yeah, this is always going to be one of my favorite games. This video includes so many of my favorite games. Another one of my favorite series is the Quest for Glory. This is the anthology, which includes games 1 through 4. 4 was actually the first game in the series that I bought. I remember a friend's dad had burnt a copy of 4. Sorry, Coles. I have bought it, you know, legitimately since then a few times. But yeah, so I played 4 and it was really great. So after that, I sort of looked up the earlier games and got this anthology box so that I could play all the games and play them with the actual game disc. These are just a really good series. They are part point and click adventure and part RPG in that you can choose your character class and really level up all of your skills and things. You can also attack different problems in different ways. You can use stealth or combat or talking or magic, and it's just a really good series. And you can make a character in the first one and carry through your save file through all of the games, so you can sort of keep progressing that one character that you had made. I am still looking for Quest for Glory 5. I do not have that box yet. So up next is Star Trek Starfleet Command, which is a game I really don't know anything about. I don't remember if Will bought this or if someone gave it to me because they know I collect PC games, which is very nice, but it's just not something I really know about. It looks like some kind of, I don't know if it's like a flight simulator or like a battle game, but it's all about ships. It comes with a huge manual. It's even spiral bound that just gives you all kinds of information on all the different ships in here. It comes with a very, very numbers heavy guide to all the ship information for different things. So yes, lots of cool goodies in the box, but can't really tell you much about the game. I'm filing all of these under T for Tex. This is Under a Killing Moon. This is the first of the Tex Murphy games that I ever played. I do remember seeing this in a Radio Shack and looking at the box and seeing how there were real actors in it, which blew my mind at the time. I'm pretty sure this was the first FMV game I ever played, and it sort of started my love for the concept. They call this an interactive movie, which I don't know. There's a lot of interaction in it. I mean, I guess it's a movie because they have filmed real human beings acting, but it's really just, I don't know, for an FMV game, the mechanics are great. Like, you can sort of walk around in 3D as opposed to just going from screen to screen like most of the FMV adventure games I've played. And then it's just got a really good UI and a fantastic hint system, and it is funny in a way where, you know, they're kind of laughing at themselves, not, you know, being too serious about it. And yeah, this kicked off my love for FMV games and got me into the following Tex Murphy games. It also comes with a really nice big manual here. I have more, which I'm about to show you. So the next Tex Murphy game is the Pandora Directive, which is the best of the series. I think that's pretty commonly believed, and I agree with that. This one, Tex has to find a missing person, and it brings him into this big conspiracy about aliens and Roswell and UFOs, and it's all very exciting. There's a serial killer. The story is a little bit more serious, although I guess the first one had to do with genocide, so maybe not more serious. The acting and everything is a little higher quality, a little more serious in that way, but it's still very fun and funny, and you know, it knows how to laugh at itself. So what is in here? So this game takes place on 6 discs, so it was just like disc swapping galore. I remember when I was playing through it, my discs 5 and 6 were often defective, so I was writing to Access Software all the time, and they were always very helpful, and they would send me a new disc whenever I requested it, so that was very nice of them. I don't know why after the giant user's guide in Under a Killing Moon, they went with this tiny little user's guide for Pandora Directive. But yes, excellent game. If you like FMV and adventure, you should definitely check it out, as I think this is probably the pinnacle of that particular genre, and I should probably review this soon. I did review Under a Killing Moon a while ago, but it's probably time to give this one another go too. And then the next, and what was the last Tex Murphy game for quite a while, is Tex Murphy Overseer. And this basically takes the story from one of the earliest games, I think Mean Streets, and redoes it with the new sort of FMV mode. And this is pretty good as well. They made some changes to the interface, which I didn't particularly care for, but it's still very charming, has the same charming actors and great puzzles and things in it. We've got the discs here. There is a little manual. Again, they went with the little tiny manual rather than giving us the full one. And Access Software was mostly known for golf games, so their fall catalog is all about links games, which seems very boring to me, but some people might be into that. So yes, the Tex Murphy games are fantastic FMV, and I thought that they were done for until a few years ago a Kickstarter started up for a new Tex Murphy. I was one of the backers. I backed it for like $160 or something, which is way more than I've ever backed anything else for, and they came out with Tesla Effect. I've just got the game DVD here. It's still sealed because I also got a digital key, which is what I use to play it, but I do still have this. I also think it has a bonus soundtrack CD in here, and this was pretty good. It sort of brought back all of the nostalgia of the original games that made me so happy. I don't think it was quite as good as them, but especially in like the first half, it really sort of got me in those feels and gave me a ton of nostalgia for the first game. So I have this as well. So this is something I've also talked about pretty regularly recently. It is Theme Hospital, which is a hospital sim business game. Recently, a sort of spiritual successor came out, which was called 2 Point Hospital. And this is just a really fun, sort of darkly humorous simulator. It's not too complex, but you still get to like hire people, build all the treatment rooms, set all the prices, manage the queues and things like that. It's got a cute sort of dry British sense of humor and various different objectives to meet as you go from hospital to hospital. I don't think there's a ton in this box. No, it's just really the game disc, and then there's a little sort of black and white user manual. But this is a really fun game. I also have this on PS1. Getting close to the end here, this is Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, a game I haven't played yet. I've owned it for so long, I just have never got around to actually playing it, but it is not a prequel, it's sort of in a different series than Bloodlines, but I wanted to have this, so this is just an empty box. Again, I found this one at the same time that I found Blade Runner, but I did also find the disc for it at least, so now I am just looking for the manual so that I can complete this one, and then one day I will actually play it. And of course, I also have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, another game I have talked about extensively and done a rather thorough review on. This one is just in one of the little PC boxes. I don't know if it ever came out in the like huge big box in North America at least, but this was the only one that I could find for it. This is another game where I had my original discs from when I got it originally, but I didn't keep the game box, so it's a replacement game box. It also comes with a little game manual, and yeah, this is just so good. One of the best RPGs ever. It's so fun to sort of embody a vampire of your choosing and make use of all of their skills and feed on people and fight monsters and seduce people or dominate them or intimidate them. There's just so many ways to tackle all of the problems that you have in the game, and so many cool characters to talk to. And yeah, I love this game. I've talked about it a lot. Check out my review if you haven't seen it. But yeah. So next is Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And this one is still actually sealed because this is not the version that I played when I was a kid. I thought this was the one, but it's actually not. I found the one that I used to play. It's the Broderbund one, which I've got the disc for here. I think it came with like Encarta or something, some kind of encyclopedia software, but this is the Carmen Sandiego that is animated. It has voices and things. I played so much of this as a kid, learned a lot about geography and things, and yeah, this one is just a lot of fun. I would actually love to play this again. This one I think is sort of more similar to like the early PC versions or even like the NES versions. I'm pretty sure there's an encyclopedia in here or an almanac in here to help you get through the game. Oh yeah, World Almanac. But I haven't opened this. And last but not least, it's the XFiles game. This one sort of falls into that same category of why did I buy this? I have played this game extensively, but I always played the PS1 version. I've actually never played it on PC, but I do really like the box. It's got these little windows here where you can see Mulder and Scully, and where the discs are is actually really nice. It's like kind of holographic. You've got this little sort of holographic thing of Mulder and Scully, and you take it out and it's like a little file folder with each of the different discs as its own little file, which is pretty cute. It's just got a little tiny game manual with it, but this is a really fun game, another FMV game that is actually pretty good. I'm sad a little bit that Mulder and Scully aren't in this game excessively. I did do a review of this a number of years ago on my channel, but they were off filming the X-Files movie, so you actually play a sort of new character through the game, but they do make appearances, and it is a fun game. I think it's also 7 discs? Yeah, 7 discs on PC. I think it's only 4 on PS1, but a good game. I just haven't actually played this one on PC. So that's it, the 30 games in my PC big box collection. I'm sure you can tell by my commentary that a lot of my favorite games are here. There's so many great computer role-playing games and like the Sierra and the LucasArts games that I really love. So many good things here, so many good memories. Even though I'm not playing the actual discs, these are games I do go back to from time to time, and I would like to talk about them more on the channel and do some more reviews on them in the near future. Let me know in the comments what you think, if there's any particularly exciting PC big boxes that I should be keeping an eye out for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more, check out another of my collection videos here. I also have a Patreon if you want to support what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.